Hello everybody, once again this is AikawaKazu and welcome back to another video here. But this will be something special. This will be a class that is not in Dragon Age Southeast Asia yet, but here it is, a Dark Avenger. I'll be showcasing to you these skills in non-Avenger mode as well as in the Dark Avenger mode. And of course for skills that have a Dark Avenger animation or portion of the skill, so check that out. But I'm also here to let you know what I feel about the class after playing it for, I don't know, 4 hours or so. So if you're interested regarding my overview or review of this class, it's at the end of the video. So after this, go check out all the skills that I managed to record. Most of them are active skills, and I'll talk about the passive skills at the end during the review as well. So if you're interested in that, I'll bring up like the skill tree and I'll go through every skill. So if not, enjoy the skill showcase, and then after the skill showcase there will be a short golden medal run without UI in chaos mode, where I'll showcase to you that you can actually stay transformed as a Dark Avenger throughout or for almost forever if you actually play it right. And how do you do that? It'll be in the review, so go check out the review if you're interested. If not, enjoy the very fast and short showcase of the skills as well as the short 5-minute golden medal run through run in chaos mode. Alright, go check it out. Alright, hope you guys enjoy the skill showcase as well as the short golden medal run. So I'll go straight into my overview and review of the skill tree very quickly here. So let's go to the warrior tree is the same, no difference here from the swordmaster or mercenary. So we'll go straight into the Avenger tree here. Here's the triple slash skill, the front show. This is Piercing Crescent, Doom Blade, Vengeance Storm, Stab Blade. This is your Avenger Force. This is the one where it gives you 10 Avenger bubbles. But what is special about this skill, as mentioned in the skill showcase, is that it gives you it debuffs the targets affected in the AoE like Brave. This skill is like Brave. And AoE, it slows them down. They have this yellow circle on them, just like how bosses give you a yellow circle when you're slowed down. And they also increase all damage taken by these targets by 28% for 10 seconds. So the debuff lasts for 10 seconds here. This is called Dark Mastery. So what it does is, for every Avenger Force that you have, which is a maximum of 30, you can get 3% increase of strength per Avenger Force, as well as 50p attack increase per Avenger Force, which means a 90% increase in strength, or rather as well as a 1.5k p attack increase. Alright, this is when you have 30 Avenger Force bubbles. Stab Blade, this is the one where you use to close in on your opponent, it can be used in air as well. Soul Cutter, this is the one where it's very special. Dark Avenger has a skill that actually decreases defense by a percentage when you use this skill. So for level 7 this is 26%, I believe the highest level is 9, which means you can get up to 28% here, increment of 1% of the defense debuff per level. And this is your so-called flash stance. But yep, it's level 1 here. Alright, this one is the super armor buff that you get whenever you're hit by monsters. Its increment in PvE is 0.5 seconds per level, so you can get up to 6 seconds, because you can add 0.5 times 10, or rather 5.5 seconds. So 5.5 seconds here, or maybe 6 if my math doesn't fail me. Should be 5.5 seconds. So PvP, this one increment is 0.25. So in PvP you can get up to, I believe, 3 seconds. 3 seconds, if not, it is actually 3.5 seconds. Alright. So 3.5 seconds of super armor increase when hit by a target is quite significant here. So PvP players, I think this is one skill that you might want to max. This one here is your fire attack buff. Alright, level 5, 32% fire attack increase, and it lasts for 40 seconds, cooldown is 30 seconds. If there's a cooldown plate, I believe your downtime will be 2 seconds here. So you can increase it up to level 6 here. There's a level 6 version, you can plus 1 it, I believe, with a skill accessory to get it to 36%, a 4% increase here if you so desire. This is your Dark Riser, your flying swing for the Avenger class. Of course, when you are in Avenger mode, you can use it instantly. You'll be an instant cast, and it can be cast with the spacebar key when you're finished casting a skill. You cannot cast it by pressing spacebar. I tried it. So it's like circle break, end of the animation, press spacebar, you can go straight into a Dark Rise or Dark Riser, and then go from Dark Riser to Piercing Crescent, as I've shown in the skill showcase. Dash combo, the difference for Avenger is after the usual dash combo and the slash, you can press the left click twice for extra rising slash or lift. Aerial Blade, as noted in the skill showcase, this one actually might have, haven't proven yet, 400 SA breakage or higher. Could be 600, but apparently you can break 400 SA skills, so this Aerial Blade could be useful. But the only problem, as mentioned just now, is you cannot use dropkick before using Aerial Blade. So it's one of the problems here. And of course, Counter Blade or Counter Slasher is your Crisis Howl for the Avenger class, a passive defensive skill that you can use with the right click whenever you are hit by or flinched by targets. I believe this should have iframe as well, haven't tested it, but it should have. And finally we go to the Dark Avenger skill tree here. This will be your transforming skill. And don't forget that when you are in Avenger mode, all your skills with Nightmare status, you see this little pink text on the screen for triple slash front throw, Piercing Crescent, Doom Blade, Vengeance Storm, yep, and Dark Riser. You see this pink text on top, or rather this purplish pink text. It means that it's a Nightmare skill, and you will see a yellow glow around those skills when you become Avenger mode, as you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, including the ultimate skill, guys, including ultimate. So when you're in Avenger mode, the cooldown of your nightmare skills will actually be halved. Alright, so triple slash, or they call it graves, I think, will be 6 seconds instead of 12 seconds. So it is very important for you to maintain this mode as long as possible, and we'll get to how you actually be able to do that very soon. This is your Darkness Crash or Dark Crash. Alright, level 11 bot damage is 3.5k. You can actually increase it by 1.5 times or 150% of it when you fully charge it. So you can actually cast the skill straight away with the left click when you go up into the air, but if you fully charge it, it will do 1.5 times more damage. So you need to know how to use this at the right timings here. Find out your DPS window. And of course you have your Avenger roll. Alright, when you're Avenger mode, your tumble. There we go. I wouldn't say that there isn't a cooldown, but you can keep using it. There's like a slight delay every time. You cannot permanently, you know, jump and then just keep tumbling. You cannot do that. There's like a slight delay before you can actually use again. So you can tumble, piercing crescent, tumble, Avenger roll, piercing crescent, Avenger roll, piercing crescent. You see me do that a lot in the Golden Manor video, as well as the skill showcase. I love to do that. That's one of my favorite things to do. And we go to this very special part for the Dark Avenger class, right? You know, for other classes, you have a lot of EX skills, but we go straight to the one and only EX skill for the Dark Avenger class, which is the Avenger Force EX. Here, you have two options, just like all these passive skills here, alright? This is the special thing about the Dark Avenger class. So you can choose two. This one, Avenger Force A or Avenger Force EX A, is an increment of 15% critical rate. Alright, if you learn this one, your Cracker's critical rate will increase by 15%. Alright, this one here will be the one I believe should be the one most, if not everyone, should go for because of the nature of Nest and Raids. Is that your transformation, alright, this skill has a 60 seconds cooldown, alright, 60 seconds. If you learn this, the transformation cooldown will be reduced to 5. Let me show you here very quickly. Alright, cast the Avenger Force. You have 10 bubbles. You need 10 bubbles to transform. Avenger mode, bam, you'll see a 60, then 5 on the cooldown here. If you didn't see it just now, let me show you again. I don't have enough bubbles now, so I'll just continue talking first. But basically, this Avenger Force EX makes your transformation, your Avenger mode transformation skill, to be 5 seconds cooldown. It is so important because there's so many skills in Nest and Raids that removes your transformation. Like any skills that removes buffs, it will remove your transformation as well. Frogolin, you know, when you cast a green aura in Garden Nest, it will remove your transformation. You know, and maybe BDN Hardcore, a swipe, it will remove your transformation. So having this at 5 seconds is so important. Again, alright, watch, it'll be a 60 seconds to a 5. Alright, so Avenger Force EX, I think this is the one that most, if not all, should get. 5 seconds cooldown is so important. So important. Alright. And of course it's important because, you know, your nightmare skills are half the cooldowns. The casting animation is increased. I cannot stress enough how important that is. But let's move on to the rest of the passive skill here. Here is a little trickier. It's up to preference here. This one is, I believe, Defense Accelerator A. Basically this one is reduce all incoming damage or all damage taken by 10%. So this is basically increasing your P-Def and M-Def by a flat rate of 10%, so you take 10% less damage. This one here is increase your HP by 20%. So 20% HP or 10% less damage taken. Honestly speaking, I will go for the 10% damage reduction than 20% HP. I don't know. It's up to you guys. Because if your HP pool is low, the 20% is not going to be a lot. So reducing the damage by a flat rate of 10% could be better. Maybe someone can do the math to find out, I'm not too sure. But next one here will be the Energy Accelerator A or B, so you can choose one of the two. The left side one here is 10% final damage. Your final damage will be increased by 10% if you learn this. So if you are a Dark Avenger going for FD build, 10% is, I think, very significant. But of course this Avenger is not going for FD, so I believe the user went for the 15% fire attack. So Energy Accelerator B is increase in fire elemental attack by 15%, which is why if you look at my character right now, 31% base fire attack here. With the buff, you are looking at 63% here, and this is with only 2 fire enhancement dragon jades. You can get 4, so you can get up to 79% plus fire attack solo. Self buff 79% fire attack. That is actually pretty good. I would say close to being a solo crusader, you know, light build crusader or guardian. So if you have elemental aura, that will shoot up the roof to 109%. So 109% Dark Avenger fire build viable. There we go. So 15% fire attack could be better if you're not going for FD build for sure. If you're going for FD build, this might be better. Alright. So we go to the last one here. The last passive skill here will be Attack Accelerator A or B. So Attack Accelerator A is basically all aerial skills damage is increased by 10%. So you know, skills like Piercing Crescent, you're in the air, 10% damage increase. I'm not too sure about Darkness Crash. Is it considered aerial skill? I think it is because you're in the air before you land. But we need to do a confirmation on that one. But basically 10% aerial skills damage increase. Alright, increase in 10% for any skills that's in the air. And for Attack Accelerator B is it is a increase in critical damage by 5%. So Dark Avengers actually are strength build because of the this skill. No, sorry, this Dark Mastery. You know, you have a 3% strength increase per Avenger Force, so you have a possible of 90% strength increase with 30 Avenger Force. So having high strength also means that you have decent critical damage. So maybe you might want to go for a 5% critical damage increase. Some people might think that this is good. Or I'm not too sure, maybe the translation is wrong here. But basically it says deals additional damage when critical hits by 5%. So I'm assuming it's actually critical damage. Increase critical damage by 5% because you do 5% more damage when you crit. So yeah, I think this is critical damage increase by 5%. And last but not the least, we come to the level 65 passive skill here. This is one of the passive skills that contributes to how you keep your Avenger mode up. What this passive skill means is every time your character crits, you get one Avenger Force, basically one Avenger bubble. So this is why, you know, the Avenger or Dark Avenger class has skills that has multiple hits. Especially Piercing Crescent, so many hits. One wave can hit 6 times, guys. 3 waves can actually hit for 18 hits. Okay, and you know, you have your Vengeance Storm, multiple hits as well. Even Darkness Crash, when you're actually in the air, if the monster is large enough, when he's charging, you're actually dealing damage. I believe for the Nightmare version, you're definitely doing damage. Not too sure about the non-Nightmare version or the non-Avenger mode version. Again, with Doomblade, also multiple hits. The Switch Gravity has a leftover time or damage over time effect as well. So Soul Cutter as well. The final Cycle Slash is, I believe, 6 hits. So basically with this passive skill you can actually gain a lot of Avenger Force bubbles, and which is why you need a 5 seconds cooldown on this in case you get debuffed, so you can transform straight away if your transformation is debuffed. So yep, I think that's it. So overview, alright, come to the summary of the Dark Avenger class. How do I feel about the class? The class is definitely very fun to play. I mean, who doesn't like Piercing Crescent, right? But to be honest, Piercing Crescent damage isn't that significant. Alright, if you hit all 18 hits, the board damage here is actually 871% per wave. Alright, per Crescent wave. But each wave can hit 6 times, so it's actually... well, you'll see the numbers of the damage is going to be quite small. Like with this character, right, I'm dealing about 60,000 damage crits. So 60,000 damage crits times 6 is about 360,000 times 3, which is only about 1 million damage per 3 Crescent wave. And you can do it 3 times in a row, so about 3 million with only 28,000 P attack isn't that bad. And that is not without, I mean that's without my 60% fire attack, because it's quite hard to keep a buff up all the time. And this is the second part about the class. The fire attack buff animation is a little slow, feels a bit clunky. Alright, and you have to do Soul Cutter. Again, you have to do 1 slash first, then this, so you waste a few crucial seconds to that. My fire attack buff is really down to 15 seconds here. And then when you actually transform and you use your Avenger mode, you realize that, look at my buff counter, it's only 5 seconds left. So you don't actually have a lot of time to do a lot of damage before your fire attack buff runs out. And this is with the monster, assuming that the monster is in a perfect state for you to DPS. If you need to dodge skills, that makes it very hard to actually pull off your DPS rotation. So I think learning how to play this class takes some time, especially when you're not in Avenger mode, because the casting animation or the cast time is very long, significantly long. So you need to learn how to keep your Avenger mode up all the time. You need to know when to use Piercing Crescent, because when you're in the air, I mean the true waves looks awesome, but it takes some time for them to be you know, summoned out, or for the projectile to fully come off, and you need to cast your Piercing Crescent at a certain angle. If not, you will not actually hit. The hitbox of Piercing Crescent, you need to be quite close to the target, and the range of Piercing Crescent is not actually very far. You need to be quite close. And the ultimate skill, if you're, you know, fighting a boss, you can't actually aim directly below you. Like if the boss is below you, it's gonna be a problem. So if you're soloing, right, and the boss is on you, it's very hard for you to land your ultimate as well. And what else? What else? I find that the triple slash variation, this is almost useless in PvE, because I don't think there is a damage increase when you do that as well. Especially this one. The last hit bot damage actually is split up into those 4 or 5 hits. Alright, it's not like if you do the normal triple slash, for example, you'll see like maybe 300k, then you'll see like a 1.7 million at the last hit. If you do the variations, it doesn't actually give you more damage. You might as well just use the triple slash EX, quote unquote, the Gladiator triple slash EX, because it is what it is, just that it's fire. And yeah, that doesn't contribute for the variations. Like the variations were made so that you could market Dark Avenger to look awesome, but you won't find yourself using those variations. Unless I would say that in PvP you might, but you will spend so much time charging down there, and we have to go and test the super armor of that. If the super armor is low, which I think it is, you will get cancelled before you can even use it. And what else? So it's basically a not very fast class. It's not as fast as Gladiator. It is not a very bursty class like Moonlord. And you know, even Barbarians got a revamp. They have with their Circle Swing EX, they are quite bursty as well. So this class is do not actually have lot burst aside from Darkness Crash. Doomblade, for those who do not know, I'm going to mention just now, if the target super armor cannot be broken, you do 70% additional damage per tick. Alright, so every damage tick you will see a plus, you know, there's a plus sign there, you'll see the additional damage will show up. It will be 70% of whatever damage that was procced. Alright, so if you see 10,000, then you see a plus 7,000. So Doomblade is not that bad. Vengeance Storm is not too bad as well, instant cast, but you know, at the end there's a small pause of the casting animation. It feels a bit clunky. So the most awesome part is Piercing Crescent when you're in your Avenger mode, but Piercing Crescent damage again, not really that fantastic. Feels fantastic, but doesn't look fantastic. It's like, I will say comparable to Tempest when they're using the Spiral Vortex or DSK. A lot of hits, when you add up all the hits, a lot of damage, but if you don't add up, it doesn't look that nice. So if you are those people that like to see huge damage, like, you know, half moon slash or finish attack damage, then I don't think Dark Avenger will be a plus for you. But if you enjoy the gameplay, to sustain your Avenger mode, you like the variety here with the passive skills, where you can add 10% fire damage or 15% fire elemental attack, then I think this class is actually unique in its own way. And when it comes to DNC or EU or NA or, you know, Indonesia or Thailand or Taiwan, whoever don't have Dark Avenger yet, I hope this video can help you make a decision. But of course, for those who do not know, Dark Avenger class is actually limited duration to create. You cannot actually create anytime you want. There's actually a limited duration. I believe it's a 1 month duration if I'm not wrong, or it could be shorter. I do not know if it's 25th January when it was released, I think 2 weeks ago or last week, or is it 25th February, so I do not know, but it's basically a limited edition class, and after that duration you cannot create a class anymore. And of course we look forward to the dark versions of the Archer, the Sorceress, the Cleric, and the Academic, maybe Assassin and Lancer and Kali, I don't know. But that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, this short video here. That's my overview. It's a pretty pleasant class to play, but with some mixed feelings here. Thanks for watching once again, everyone. God bless. Remember to share this video with your friends if you enjoyed it. Slam the like button, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.